So after much anticipation, I've got the Caddx version 2 and I took it out for a test flight. I want you to tell me what your thoughts are. First of all, I think that the files that this thing produces is a lot less than the Runcam Split Mini 1 that I had here. I hacked my lens up because I was trying different lenses and I had scoffed the original lens. But anyway, the files that I get out of this guy, it's not so nice. So I tried a firmware update to an older version that they upped the bit rate and it looked a little better, but then I lost my sound. So yeah. And then in the end, I turned off the wide dynamic range, which kind of makes an interesting effect, but it's too dark. You will see, but check it out, guys. The pros of this camera is the lens and the con as well, because the lens is actually plastic. That's a plastic lens. And the way it handles light and sharpness of the image, it just looks a little bit funky. It's actually quite cool looking, but it's also funky. I don't know if you could use this video if you're going to do any sort of a professional filming. I mean, who's really doing professional filming with this? But just to give you that, at least that feel of a GoPro. However, I do like this lens, even though it's plastic, because one problem I had with the Runcam is that the lens distortion, the fisheye effect is very pronounced with it, and I don't like that because it makes your flying look almost boring. Every move you make, it looks like it's a round ball swirling around, and I don't like that. This lens corrects a lot of that, I think, because of the M12 threading that it has, and also it does something with the edges because the lens is kind of shaped funky. So it's almost like it's trying to stretch the edges and make it less of a fisheye effect. So I actually like the way the motion of this lens translates. So I tried some adjustment to see if I could get the FPV feed to look a little better, and the best thing that I could do is to turn off the wide dynamic range. What I think Caddx should do here is give us the option of not just on and off, but maybe to put it in increments. So maybe we can have like 20%, 50%, and then that way we can get the best image. To me, it seems like the wide dynamic range is too strong and it washes out the image, and it does not give a very pleasurable FPV experience, in my opinion. Of course, you could also play with the brightness and contrast. They have a few settings in there you can play around with, but to me it just seems like this whole thing could be solved by just changing the algorithm for the wide dynamic range. So I think a lot of the problems this camera has can be fixed with firmware updates, and that's why I'll be keeping it, because I will be hoping that they will implement some better compression maybe, and I think the rest of it is the lens. I think a glass lens would bring a sharper image, because you can literally see the image has this kind of like an artificial sharpness. It's trying to make up for the sharpness maybe in the software where the lens lacks it. That's what I think, at least. That's what I've seen. But overall, I'm keeping this. I like it. I don't notice any latency. It feels to be maybe slightly less than the Runcam. It's very difficult because as you fly, you get used to the latency. So doing any quick motion, you're going to feel less confidence, and that's what I find with this, that I don't want to fly too close to things. Maybe it's just in my mind, but it's not so bad. The more you fly, the more you get used to it. This is my long range build. There's a version of this you can buy. I got the components. I already had my Runcam build, so I thought I'll just buy the frame. I get the same Tachyon motors, 1108, 5000 kV. I fly this with a 3S. 3S is probably a little bit lackluster for this. It needs probably a 4S, but I get like 3 minutes flight time. That's not really good for long range, is it? But I kind of mounted my own antenna. It's good. I have the R9 system in here. R9, I'm gonna do a separate video on that system.